everybody. Francis here. Today we are going to be introducing this tool, Metasploit. It's a very powerful tool, okay, developed by the Rapid 7, okay, and it's used for penetration testing, all right? What we are going to be doing with it is to try to use it to brute force into another machine. So here I have two machines. You have this one. This one is Metasploitable. This is a a Linux-based machine. Okay, and I have this one as well, which is a Linux-based machine too. My goal is to then, let's say I don't know the password to this one. Okay, I want to remotely access this machine from this one. Okay, and without the user having to click any link. So before now, I've made a video exploring how you can use social engineering to, how attackers can use social engineering to break into a remote Windows machine, by, creating a payload and sending a link and letting other people click on that link. And through that, they can hijack the Windows machine. So the link to that video will be in the description, okay, if you want to check it out. But today we are focusing on Linux machines. So if you want to, if an attacker, we are trying to explore ways that attackers use to, for instance, hijack Linux machines, whether they are PCs or servers or anything like that. Okay. So, and it won't involve any social engineering. It would predominantly be through brute force. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously to scan for exploit on that machine, all right? So because of that, I will check the IP address of this machine. So we can see the IP address of the machine here, okay? The next thing, so this is the IP address, just in case you can see it. It's 192.168.40.133. Okay, that's the IP address of the target machine. All right. So let's say this is a server running remotely, and I want to see the vulnerabilities that might apply to this server. What do? I come to my machine where I am, scanning from. So this would then represent, for example, the pentester's machine, or if it were to be an attacker, it would be their machine. And this one would represent, for instance, the organization's server or anything like that. Okay. So the goal is, okay, we review how it may be done, and then we also discuss how to prevent this kind of attack, right? So to do that, I will just use Nmap, okay? Pretty simple, and I'll try to scan it to see the result that I get. I'm just gonna do basic scan, okay? Not even permission scan, just basic scan, all right? And quickly, you can see from here that several ports are open, okay? So for instance, you can see FTP port, you can see SSH ports, all right? So now let's say that I'm interested in SSH. Obviously, SSH allows you to remotely log into another machine, to remotely access another machine, right? So if that port is open, the attacker or the pen tester in this case may try to see what vulnerabilities they might exploit, through the SSH. Okay. So let's try to explore a few things. To open the Metasploit console, I'm just gonna type sudo and then msf console. Okay. So obviously enter my password, and the Metasploit would load in a minute. So as you can see, the Metasploit is fully loaded and is now presented us with a prompt. The next thing I'm going to do is to search for any exploit that I can use on SSH. Okay, so Metasploit contains many exploits that you can deploy. to exploit different vulnerabilities on, on a target machine. So pen testers use this to try to explore how different vulnerabilities may be exploited. So in this case, we are interested in SSH. So I will search Metasploit for any kind of exploit that I may use to target SSH. Let's do that. So with this command, I am trying to search for any exploit related to SSH login. Okay, if you want to search SSH more broadly, you can also do that. Let's see. All right, so it has now presented me with two exploits that it thinks fits my search. All right, so let's say I want to use the first one. All right. And what I can do is just say use. And obviously the number of the first one that I want to use. I can also use the name. Okay, so either way should work. Let's see. Okay, so now it's now using this, this particular one that we've specified. All right. So there are different settings that I can set here in order to configure or to specify the things that I want. So for instance, I would specify the target machine, usually the IP of that machine, and a few other settings. So for us to see applicable settings, I'm just going to say show options like so, and it will bring out all of these options, right? So I'm not going to set all of the options, obviously. So, but I'm just going to look at, a few ones that I want to set. So for example, maybe I want to change stop on success, or maybe I want verbose to be true, or, all of those kind of things. But one of the key important ones would be things like the R host, okay, which is where I'm going to specify the target. So if you look here, it says that the R host is required, and it goes further to describe what the R host is about. I will also need to pass a file. So usually, for this kind of brute force attack, um, you know, the pen tester would need to supply, like a dictionary that may be used. And there are, countless dictionaries out there that we can use. There are also default dictionaries that you can use. So we pass a file to represent, we will pass a dictionary which can be used, for the exploit. Okay. So yeah, let me do the setup. Okay, so as you can see now, I've set all some of those settings that I showed you earlier on. So I've set the host, I've set verbose to be true, which means I want as much information as possible during the processing. I've set stop on success to be true, which means that as soon as um, you know this machine, which is the target machine, is broken into or is cracked, is hacked, okay, then the exploit should stop, right? Um, that's just to make it quicker. So, and I've set a dictionary. So you can use default dictionary, or you can just use any dictionary of your choice. Maybe from online or from different sources. Pentesters get this dictionaries, or maybe some default dictionaries as well. Okay, so I've set all of those now, and I can also do show option again um, to see how it is. So you can see now that some of those things we saw earlier are now set. You see, this is set, and stop on success is set, and verbose is set, and all of that. Okay. So once we have all of these things set, the next thing is to attack. Okay, and we do that by typing exploit like so. All right. What it's going to do is to then try to crack the password to that remote machine, log into that machine, basically it will open up a session, and then the pen tester can then can explore that session to hijack the machine. So let's see. I'm going to show you how that works, obviously. So because I said verbal is true, it's showing me all of the different brute force combination that it's making, all right? And it's failing, right? Because it's not going to get it on the first try, but eventually it is going to succeed, okay? Excellent. So now it has actually succeeded, and it has opened up a session for us, all right? So we are interested in that session, and we're going to try to, exploit. So this command sessions -I is going to, list all the active sessions that's been opened. Okay. So for example, in this case, we just have one because we are, just exploring one target. Okay. Um, so the next thing is to use the session. Okay. To explore the session that has been opened. And I'll do that with this command. Okay. I'm just saying session number one, explore session number one, something like that. Okay. And like so, we are now in the session, all right? So for instance, if I wanted to know whether I've logged onto that machine, so let's just say um, something like this, and it will tell you this is the username for this machine. So this username is the username for this machine, for the victim machine. So now we are logged in to that machine from the attackers or from the pen tester's machine in this case. So we are able to, do a lot of things, basically hijack the machine and do whatever we want to do. So let's see what they have on that machine. So these are the files that they have on that machine. All right. So imagine I can view the file. Okay. Okay. So as you can see now, I've changed directory onto that folder. So this folder is in this machine. Okay. I've changed directory onto a folder that I found there, and I'll try to, I've now listed the things that are in that directory, and I've seen a file that is called just file. So I can maybe, if I want to see the content of that file, I can try to cut it, all right? Yeah, so this is the content of that file, all right? Now, what if I want to remove the file? Just to delete it. So there are a lot of things you can, the attacker can do from here. Maybe encrypt files, delete files, and all of that. Okay. As you can see, I've now removed the file, and when I list the file, it's not showing anything else. Okay. So that means the file has been removed, and all of that. Okay. So this can be really, impactful attack, okay, because you are literally the attacker is in control of the machine. There was no link needed to be clicked and anything like that. If I want to remove the folder, I can remove it. Okay, anything I want to do, I can do it. Once again, from pentester's perspective, we don't cause any harm. All right, we simply illustrate how an attack can be done in order to basically alert organizations to the need to be more cyber secure. How can you prevent this attack? One way is to make sure that it's only services that you need that are actually left open. So the ports that are open are for the services that you need, and that for remote login services that you take extra care and surround it with adequate, obviously cybersecurity controls. Once again, the basic one is usually start by making your password a lot harder to break. That way, you could make the attackers, you could frustrate them a bit more, and maybe they give up and let your resources be. All right. That's it for this video. Please consider subscribing. Cheers.